What up, what up, what up? It's Rad B.I.D. Jones. That's rapping for you two fools. And it's TNA talk. You won't hear enough about anything else. That's all I watch. Now, I want to talk about the fact that a man from the UFC, Dana White, when he said that wrestling is fake, and you know, I'm gonna tell you the problem with this. I'm gonna tell you the whole problem. The whole problem with this is everybody knows that, right? But the problem is the business itself. All of them, everybody. We talking about the wrestlers, promoters, agents, owners, and then you fools on YouTube. I still don't know what y'all doing. So whatever y'all doing, y'all problem too. See what I'm saying? Cause I'm explaining why. Professional wrestling has been around since. I mean, we're not even talking about decades no more. It was barely TV and people was wrestling. Okay, when you first got on, first TV first come out, black and white, wrestling was on TV. All right, and everybody watching it knew damn well that they wasn't putting people in headlocks for real. So they knew that. So there's a reason why it lasts. Okay, and it has nothing to do with no UFC. It has nothing to do with boxing. Because this going to be here regardless. Boxing going to be here regardless. Wrestling's going to stay only. But I'm going to tell you where the problem is went. I say 70s, 80s is the most glorified time for wrestling. Late 70s, early, all through the 80s. Really. Then the middle towards the 90s. We went to problem, when we had a problem with was WWF. By them being the ones through the 70s and 80s being the model of professional wrestling. Being what, if anybody knew anything about professional wrestling, it was WWF. It was the only thing you knew. Okay? It was WCW at the time too. But at the same time, everybody knew more about WWF because it was big. Because one know why? Hulk Hogan. I'm going to get to him in a minute. Hulk Hogan blew WWF up. I mean, he was on movies. He was on Rocky. I mean, he blew anybody that was around him blew up. But when you see these people in the ring, everything is stiff. The moves looks realistic. They clown like Hogan. He clown around, but once you see him in the ring, his facial expressions. He's telling a story the whole time. It's professional wrestling. It's the only thing that will make it stay. Not wrestling itself. That's the thing that everybody got to understand. And professional wrestling is like 10% of the whole thing. And if you get WWF, turning it into like as they did in the late 90s, early 2000s, to entertainment. Swearing to everybody they not professional wrestling. So now you have a gap like, what? It's been professional wrestling for decades and decades. So you're not wrestling no more? You just entertainment? What does that mean? No more kayfabe? Are you serious? This is where we're making our mistake. Because if you do not have kayfabe, you're going to have people like Dana White saying, that shit fake anyway. If you have a clown act, when people turn it on, that just have a ring that just says wrestling, but you're not doing wrestling and making it look realistic, the first thing somebody will say, that's fake. Like, shouts out to DJ Bill. Shouts out to him because he down the middle with his talk on wrestling is down the middle. That's why I respect him and what he do. But it's the thing about this is the same thing I was telling him. on his podcast one time when I was doing TNA review. You have to. There's no doubt about it. There's no in between. Everything has to look realistic. And to me, when I'm on podcast reviewing, I'm always saying botching. They botch it. Because this is part of it. When you throw a punch, it cannot look like you just hit the air. Because then what are you doing now? What are y'all doing? Y'all just dancing now? You need some music? What are we doing now? Because if you have a kid in the front row looking at you kick somebody, and then when you kick him, it just look ridiculous. It look like she kicked her little brother harder than you just kicked at her or him. That's a problem. That's why you have people like that know the business, that know what they're doing, like a James Storm. When he kick you, he hitting his arm. You don't know he hitting his arm. You just hear the click. You know? When people kick somebody, they jumping. Because they stomping one leg as they kicking. Which distraction. You know? And it gives the thump. So when you looking at it, he hitting it for real. You hearing thumps. This looks realistic. EY, Eric Young. When you see him in a match, he doing a power driver as his signature move. This is realistic when he pops somebody on the head like that. You can't then jump up and start acting for popcorn. Because we know he protecting you. But to somebody looking at this on TV, it has to look realistic. He has to look like the SARS does. Look like he just goes numb. Like he just bounced you on your head. Act like it. He just put you, and like when you have somebody in a figure four, got him in a forearm or something. You gotta have it tight. You gotta have it, your arms locked. You gotta have it almost like you choking this guy for real. This gotta look realistic. We know you're not doing it for real. And this guy gotta act like he getting choked. Because if you choking him, you looking like a days like this. And he acting like you choking him. Now this don't look right. Or you choking him, looking realistic, and he just like this. This is the problem you have. That's why you had Dana White saying the shit is fake anyway. Disco Inferno, I agree with you. When you tweeted that if people make things look more realistic, you wouldn't have this problem. That's my point. When I'm looking at somebody on TNA like Monty Bale, and you kicking females on the ground right in front of the people on the front row, and you barely kicking them. It just looked too soft. You can't do it. Your strike's too soft. You can't do it. This is what goes on in OVW. You know? In the independent scene. You know? NXT. You do all that around that. You do all that. To me, it's botching. If it don't look realistic, you just botched it. To me. I'm botch police. I don't play that. And if you botch it, it's when it's not realistic. 70s, 80s, it looked realistic. When they had somebody in the forearm twist or something, it looks like he getting twisted for real. Everybody, the man is screaming. It looks like he bending his arm off. That's why finishers were four nestlings back then. Because if you put somebody in the front field, figure four leg lock for real, like my man did, Flair, if you do that for real, that hurts. You're going to the hospital, you know? If you put somebody DDT for real, and he dropped their head on the concrete for real, they're going to the hospital. Okay? So if you just make it a little realistic, then if somebody come to you, that's the fake. Do it. Give them a power driver, EY, and don't protect them. And as they in the hospital bed, looking up with a broken neck, guarantee they'll stop saying it's fake. That's my problem. If you wrestlers act like it for real, look realistic in the ring, you wouldn't have this problem. Commentators, if you talk more realistic, digest every move is being made to the person watching so they can know that hurts. Everybody got to work together, man. Because if y'all don't work together, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. You're going to have people saying it's fake. When they click it on, they're going to click it off. And your whole professional wrestling thing is going to die if it's not on TV. And most channels is not going to pick it up if people is not watching it. And if people click it on and it look like RH, it's getting clicked off immediately. That's not realistic. So you people got to wake up as a wrestling community and realize you got to get together on things like TNA, professional wrestling. All these people could get together and make a big professional wrestling entity that's the size of WWE for real. Instead of making these little things that doesn't matter. In the scheme of things, it doesn't matter. When you make an RH, this is garbage for real. In the bigger scheme of things, when somebody clicking on that is not into this stuff like that, they click it on, they want to see something that look realistic and entertaining to them. And they click it on, RH does not give them that. It's immediately clicked. Lucha Underground don't give them that. It's immediately clicked. Because it's not realistic. You got storylines in Lucha Underground where people been murdered. Really? You can't even take kayfabe that far. Now you just gone too far. Now everybody in their mind know this is just a drama series. It's not wrestling. You gotta have professional wrestling. TNA do give you professional wrestling. Stiff professional wrestling. As you watch these wrestlers, everything looks realistic. Here and there you get a wrestler coming in and just slips here with their things. But with their main stage, the people that's in there all the time, it's look realistic from EY. Rude. This stuff look realistic, man. And it have to. If it don't, you don't have anything. So to professional community, to the professional world, wrestling world, wake up. If you want this stuff to continue, you gotta act like you want it to. Support stuff that is professional wrestling. Because the other stuff that glitters around it don't last, man. It just do not last because it's not realistic. WWE is not going to... That's why they don't have the ratings they should have. And they always did have when you had 6 million people looking at it. Then you had another show that was beating it out with 7 million people. That's 14 million people looking at wrestling. WCW beat WWE 3 straight years straight. Head to head. Why? Because they was more realistic than WWF. They had a clown show. You turn on WCW, this was realistic. They had cruiserweight matches look realistic. Man, if you want this stuff to last, you can't be running around supporting everything and just put trash in the stuff that really will last and make an impression on professional wrestling on the long run. You got to wake up. In reality, though, this stuff got to look realistic. You can't be in there doing stuff, doing a power driver, a suplex, an elbow, all back to back, like RH do. Everybody just doing everything back to back to back to back. You just hit this guy with a suplex. Why would you have to hit him with a power driver and this and that and that and that now? It's not realistic. So that's what I mean. You have to bring back the realistic part of wrestling for it to work. And that's my thoughts on this, man. And Hulk Hogan, look, to me, if you entertain the people in the ring, man, most of these people are probably racist. They probably can't get along with black people. Who cares? When I turn this thing on, are you doing professional wrestling the way it's supposed to be? Because to me, I don't care if you like me as a black man. I don't care. Who cares? What I need to know is, when I turn professional wrestling on, are you doing that? And Hulk Hogan can do that better than anybody. He the MJ of professional wrestling. He the GOAT. So, who cares? I won't give him no money now that I know that he's a goddamn racist. So, who cares? And then racist word is used kind of lit. That's a top whole nother discussion. That, to me, the racist thing is not even wrestling. So that's why I'm not even going into that. But to me, Hulk Hogan is the GOAT of wrestling. And who cares? All right? Professional wrestling needs to live only if you make it realistic. And WWE is entertainment. They tell you they're not professional wrestlers, so you got to give them a pass. They taking what they can get. They don't care if you 10 to 18. They gonna love you. You gonna love it. So who cares? They don't care. They don't want it to look realistic because they tell you they entertaining. That's why they changed it to WWE. So get over it. So I don't even get mad at that because I don't even talk about WWE because it's not wrestling. So if you want professional wrestling to last, things like TNA is about it. Wake up. TNA, TNA, TNA. Hey, this is it, man. Professional wrestling needs to wake up. Disco Inferno, you're my man. I agree with you. And I agree with you wholeheartedly, man. And I'm out.